Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. And thank you, Samantha, for coming again to Kansas. And you came on a good day, good week, because we won the national championship.
That's right! And
basketball, NCAA, Kansas University, go Jayhawks.
It was very exciting.
It was incredible. So we're celebrating today, and we're talking about the game, and we don't even know anything about basketball, but here we go.
I do. I played.
Well,
okay.
Well, Jan Black, who's also here in the wings, she and I played half court.
Right. I did.
Because heaven forbid that we would sweat, or whatever that was all about. I'm not sure. But
you glowed.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
you didn't sweat.
That's how
you glowed.
That's how old I am. Is half court basketball. So anyway. But thank you for coming again.
Absolutely.
We love it when Samantha comes to town because she brings so much inspiration to us. And particularly about dresses, but not just always about dresses, but she is especially, I don't know, you're just into dresses.
It's because of my climate.
Yeah.
Really, I was a tomboy growing up. Tube socks, tennis shoes, jeans, and T-shirts, and awful hair. I have pictures of myself, and I'm thinking, my God, I cannot believe my mom would let me leave the house like that. But as I've gotten older, had children playing in the park in South Carolina, you're drenched.
Yeah.
So
dresses are, so we're getting ready for spring around here. It's going to be like 70 today in Topeka, although it doesn't look like it's going to be that. So we're kind of beginning to gear up, and some greenery is poking out of the ground. So we're getting ready for the heat. So this is our introduction to spring in Kansas, but hopefully for spring for a lot of the rest of you. So let's, I forgot to bring up, doggone it, the Crane Street tees that we are promoting this month. I forgot all about it.
Do you want Jan to go grab them?
Well,
why didn't she go grab? What would you want her to grab?
That's all right. We're okay.
A kit
what
or a
What do
tee?
you think? What do you think? Should we grab the tees?
I can go grab them.
No, that's all right.
Jan will grab them. Just tell her where they are.
Yeah, tell Deb downstairs that we need the 3 Crane Street tees, black, ivory, and white. She'll know that are embroidered, the ones that are embroidered. So, all right.
Yeah,
so we're good to go. All right. Come on.
They're leaving us alone. Watch out.
Yes, I've been so excited about all that's happening around here with basketball and dresses that I forgot what I was going to talk about at first. So
And
we'll talk
tennis.
about that. And
We have a lot of tennis.
That's right. At the Charleston Open. Is that what they call it?
No, it's called the Credit One Open now.
But it's in Charleston.
Yes.
South Carolina. Okay, we're tennis people, and we play together many times when she comes to town or when I go visit her. So,
Yeah.
all right, but let's talk about first of all, let's talk about what we have on. We're going to talk about 3 patterns today, and you're going to see original patterns as they are, and you're going to think, and that turns into a dress? I mean, how does this happen? So we're going to talk about how that happens, the inspiration for it, and then we're going to get into some fabric options for you. But the one that blew me away the most, when I talked to Samantha last week or so, and I said, what do you want to talk about when you come? She said, well, I'm going to bring a detour dress. And I went, really? A detour dress? Because in my mind, a detour is this, which is a jacket, which you've seen on Facebook Live before and other things. But this is one of my favorite jackets. And the pattern's been around for a while. It was a previous name, the zigzag jacket. We renamed it. It had a pant with it. We don't have the pants with it anymore. But last year, I think it was, or maybe a couple years ago, we did a whole series of detour jackets and did some variation.
Was it a So Confident first?
It was a So Confident, Series 9. So this is a detour vest. So I simply left the sleeves off and did some organza for a facing and bound the front edge. And this inspiration came actually from that store that you and I visited, RTW in Charleston. And remember that Sophie Hong designer?
Yes, and this. That was it, yes.
That's where this idea came from, was going to that store with you.
And you did.
Well, the reason this is faced in organza is because this fabric has a little bit of a raised metallic dot that if you press it, the paint comes off of it.
Ooh.
So you have to press it from the wrong side.
Sure.
So I didn't want to have a double-sided thing that I couldn't press ever.
Right.
So at any rate, so even the under collar is in organza.
This is
when
perfect.
normally this is one piece with a fold right here. But I separated that and I was able to make a facing. So if you don't have enough fabric or if you want a contrast or something, you can always do that. So this was one variation of the Detour that we had already done. And then this is just a simple variation of the jacket that I have on that's lengthened, and it's more of a duster length and no buttons, just open. But it's lined, and it's lined with Bemberg rayon. And the lining of this is a little bit tricky because it's not just your standard lining because of this yoke and so forth. So that's part of this compendium Detour Jacket publication that we have. So,
And this was a panel fabric that you were showing how to cut it up to.
right, so this side's vertical, this side's horizontal. We do a lot of that, mixing up the patterns and so
Leave
forth.
the back.
Yeah.
That's
So-
cool too, with
So now we get to see your detours. Your detours. So you have it on.
I do.
So this is the dress. So tell us what you did.
Well, basically I lengthened it, of course. This fabric, though, I had for probably a year that I bought from you, and at first I thought I was going to make pants. I thought it would make me look really long, and I kept like carrying it around the house and showing, what do you think? And everybody was like, you know, my boys, my husband are like, So then I thought I'm going to do the dress and tried to, I didn't line it up perfectly, but it works pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
So really, I lengthened it 18 inches.
All right. Now, when you lengthened it, did you keep the original circumference or did you just keep going?
I laid the
Because
hip
there is
cur-
a swing to it.
Yes, but I was worried about the pockets opening if I got it too tight around my hips. So I used the hip curve and I just kind of came down a little. I wouldn't say I went like that, but I would be more of a gradual.
Okay.
Because you have to be able to walk as well.
Right.
You know, if it goes straight down, you're going to be like,
Right.
right?
So then you added a belt that you can either use in the front or the back.
Yes.
This has an inverted pleat. The design of the jacket has this inverted pleat, so you kept that and then added that belt, which you do a lot because you like to cinch in and give shape to your dresses. A lot of them.
A little bit, but like I don't really feel like this is really cinched in. But
No,
if
it's
it
not
was,
cinched in, but it gives it some definition.
Yeah.
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 And one of the things I think I like best about this is that, as you can see, this is how the collar lies when you just have the jacket on. But you can wear it open.
And I didn't change that at all. This
No.
is the exact same, and I have the buttonholes to where I could do it just like yours.
Right. So people who can't wear or don't choose to wear something that rises on their neck, you can turn this collar down. And I think that's a nice option.
And then I shortened my sleeves.
Okay.
And I put a little cuff here. I've sewn it down so it'll stay.
Okay.
I can't remember where exactly I got that, but because of Charleston, because of the heat, there's no way I could wear the long sleeve.
Okay, then
Very
you have to
often.
tell us about these.
Well, if any of you know me, you know I like embroidery. I like, you know, now they're doing studs, they're doing crystals. Like at the Grammys, there was an Alexander McQueen that was dripping in crystals. I mean, it was to die for.
Yeah.
So I've got all of these things I've been buying over time as I see them, and I always feel like it's hard to use because you feel like that's going to be too much, you know. But I did add 3. So I kept it odd. 1, 2, 3.
4.
4. Is there a 5th?
No.
Oh gosh, I thought I kept it 3.
No, but these are sequin appliques
Just
that
there's nothing
you
special.
sewed on,
Yep.
not fused or
No.
they're just sewn on. Well, where do you find these kinds of things?
Amazon. Sometimes I find them, like being here, I've gotten vintage buttons from you. You can go online and
Okay.
there's many bead stores, but when you get them, a lot of times they look inexpensive.
Yeah.
So to me, it's really hard to find. So if you happen upon a vintage store or something, you can find the appliques or these, buy them, keep them in your stash.
Yeah.
Or send them to me.
I don't think
I'll use
that,
them.
I don't think keeping them in their stash is a problem for this group, so I don't think that's going to be.
Well, I don't say stash anymore. It's my curated collection.
Exactly. All right, so we've got another Detour.
Yes.
And this one is amazing. It's got lots going on here. This is in just a nice natural linen. Now this shows off the pockets that you've done on this one. And what pocket pattern do you use?
I use your Stafford, from my Stafford jean jacket. I have it hanging on my wall, and I just pull it down every time and use it.
Yeah, that's something I don't think I've ever plugged into my brain about a pocket, but it is a nice size pocket, not too big, not too small, but you've just done, a nice top stitched detail, subtle but nice. So basically it's the same thing, lengthened, whatever, but tell us about this.
Which, this became a whole family endeavor right here. I saw the Cynthia Rowley jeans that are off-white, and the bottom 3 inches is bright pink dyed, and it kind of like seeps up a little bit, so it's probably 4 inches total. And I was going to try to do it.
Yeah.
So dyeing is not what you think it is. It's not as easy as you think it is. But I wanted to hang it in the shower so that I didn't get dye all over the place.
Yeah.
And I had to have it just right. So I got my husband to figure out if we threw a chain over the shower head, I could position it on the chain just right and let it hang and soak. Because then afterwards you have to wash it and wash it and wash it in the shower. You don't want this coming up.
Right.
So it has to stay down.
Right. Well, what kind of dye did you use?
I got it from Amazon, and it was a powder called Jacquard Procyon.
Procyon MX, yeah, Jacquard Procyon MX is the dye.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I tried a couple of different colors initially, but I love the green.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
And I didn't tell you, I had a first one, and I think I sent you a picture of the first one that I did.
You sent me a picture. I can't remember. I don't know what
was
version
terrible.
it was.
It was terrible.
No, I didn't think it was terrible, but whatever.
I learned a lot from that one.
Okay.
And the fact that it was the pink, and I had done it on one side of my bathroom, mixed the dye in the bucket, put it in the shower, did this, and the next day on the other side of the room, I kept seeing these little spots of like yellow, red, green. I'm thinking, what? And I would wipe it up, and I was thinking, what is all of this? It's the powdered dye really goes everywhere.
Wow.
And I had like a spot up here. How did it get up here? A little teeny dot. So that's why I ended up dyeing that whole garment at the end, which then looked like a flag, and it was red, white, and blue, and it was like, not that I love America, but it just wasn't what I had anticipated.
Yeah.
So I did learn a lot.
So you do have to be a little careful with the powder and the dye and be in a space that's conducive to...
Yeah, don't just be over the bathroom sink thinking, oh, that's going to work.
Right.
You really need to be careful with what you're doing.
Now that I feel this is not linen.
What is it?
This is raw silk.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I think so. I could be wrong, but it has a different flavor to it than linen. But either way, either would work. So how you cinched this in a different way?
I did. I used elastic because of another garment that I had. It just had it on the side.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll try that and see how that turns out.
So this has a little piece of fabric sewn to the back of it, and
can
the
show.
elastic is inserted into that casing.
It actually looks reasonable on the inside.
Well, let's look at it. And now that you're unbuttoning, we'll come back to the buttonholes, but this is a pretty cool detail as well.
So see, I put the elastic. I put it on the piece of fabric first, and then I sewed that onto the actual garment.
Okay.
So that it looked a little more finished.
That's an interesting way to do that. That looks good.
Plus, I thought if you wanted to wear this as a duster, like the kimonos,
Right.
then this looks okay. That doesn't look...
You want us to get this closer?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah.
You know, with a white T-shirt and jeans and just throw that on.
Well, this is what you're seeing
Cute
over
shoes.
shorts and jeans
know,
and
yeah.
little skirts. Not that I'm wearing little
Me
skirts.
either.
But, you know, but somebody is.
They are.
Yeah. And then this is a cool detail. This is a really cool detail. This, when I look at this reminded me of a pinch pleat on a drapery. So you've just pinched these three little tucks and then sewn that in a single line to catch all of it. I think it's really a great detail.
And that was another like designer shirt that I had seen in a store, and I thought, well, gosh, that is so simple. You know, all they did was sew that little.
Right. So, you know, sometimes we're just always worried about these big sleeves and you know, what do you do
Right.
with them? You can taper the pattern, you can sew it smaller, but this is a great way to add, again, some shape and definition sometimes you don't know until you finish the garment that it's,
Well, it was kind of big,
Yeah.
you know, and I think, oh, I remember that.
right, it's a great detail. So tell us about the buttonholes.
Well, you know, again, buttonholes, you always think of them as either that way or that way.
Right.
So I did them asymmetrical, you know.
Just on the
On the-
diagonal.
yeah.
I think that's really cool. I've never seen that ever. I love it.
Well, this really sewed up very nicely. And you can see right here, look,
Yeah, little
blue.
little blue dot.
And I had no blue dye, so.
Hard time, yeah, and just the simple back.
It's the same, everywhere else is the same, but boy, was that fun.
Yeah, this is very, very cool.
You could really get lost in the dyeing if,
I would be
You're
lost in the
interested.
dyeing because I'm lost at dyeing.
but, well, their website, that Procreon, has great instructions.
Okay.
But they didn't tell you to be very careful with the powder, that it goes all over the place.
Right.
But,
Now this is not, pardon me?
Can I ask, why did you use powder instead of liquid?
that is a good question. I felt like that would be a higher end product than just going to the grocery store and buying RIT dye, which it may be the same. I have not compared the two, but I thought the Cynthia Rowley, that bright pink that she had, I don't think RIT dye had a bright pink. So that kind of sent me on a search for a different kind of dyes, and that's where I came across that one. And you can buy it from Amazon, but you can also buy it from
Well, like Dharma Trading, they sell it.
Yes.
They sell, I think, all kinds of dyes. They're a more independent source for things like this.
And they're not in it. They're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
But you got to be brave.
Yeah. Got to be ready to ruin it, or recreate it, or re-dye it, or over-dye it, or
Yes.
or applique it,
Yes. Yep.
like this. So this is
My Detour.
another Detour jacket, and it's not a dress, but I just wanted to show it because she brought it, and it's so incredible. But this is a two-sided denim that we had that's navy on one side and green on the other, and then you put another denim on top of it in these triangle harlequin shapes and zigzag them on. And then did you wash it and let it fray, or did you?
No, it washed once and it looked like this.
Yeah.
And this is because of all of the patchwork that is out now. You know, there's patchwork jackets made out of old quilts. They're beautiful designers making these
Right.
quilt things. So I don't know, this selvage I loved from
Yeah.
the denim, so I kept that and used that
Yeah.
instead of putting buttons or closure. It was so easy. This was like
Yeah,
piece of cake.
We have a Fractured in France event coming up in August in France at Chateau du Monde. Samantha's assisting me in the teaching of that class, and we're taking this to France because this will be one of the options for those of you who are signed up for that event. It'll be
But that wasn't my intention in the beginning. I felt like I was trying to get on trend with the quilting.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic.
And it was very simple.
This may
you know.
not go back to South Carolina. I don't know. I'm sure it'll fit me.
Well, it'll fit you because it doesn't fit me anymore. So I gained a little weight.
All right. So we've got detours. Now let's go to, what do you want to talk about now? Shall we talk about Marceau's?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's show an original Marceau
Yes.
first. So for those of you who remember the Marceau, it is a T-shirt that has a seam down the center and the center back, and the neck bindings are shifted, or the fronts are shifted so that the neck binding is separated and the hem is offset as well. But the probably most interesting feature of this
Is the sleeve.
is the sleeve.
I
It's a
love this
really
sleeve.
beautiful sleeve with these 2 tucks and then the little bit of cuff knit. So this was built for a knit. You, of course.
Wait, you want to do that? Let's do those. This is confusing, I think.
Okay.
The, those two at the end.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So you did a dress using the 2 fronts.
And this is one of my favorite fabrics.
And here's the
Same
knit.
sleeve.
This is the same kind of knit, essentially. It's a jersey knit. And you just lengthened it.
I did.
And
That's
you left
it.
the offset at the bottom and the top. And
Yep.
I think you had a belt at one time with this.
I did.
Yeah,
I
but
don't use it anymore because of
Yeah.
my waistline's a little big.
Stop it. So anyway, this is a lengthened version of the sort of original Marceau, we'll call it. Then
And this is one of my favorites.
Is a Marceau that has been then flared a bit. Let's get this one out from behind it so it's not conflicting.
And I added more to make it more extreme because of all of the asymmetrical hemlines now. I thought, because when I initially wore my Marceau, my original, my boys are like, Mom, you messed up.
Oh yeah, sometimes a half an inch is a mistake and 4 inches is not.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So this worked, and then I did this is a silk chiffon.
This is silk chiffon, silk georgette actually.
Georgette,
But this,
okay.
So this is a woven with the knit ribbed cuff put on the knit. Did you have
And this
any-
is terry. This is French,
French
terry.
terry? Okay. So did you have any issues sewing the woven to the knit?
Absolutely none.
Yeah, a lot of people are a little bit afraid of that, and you didn't adjust any of the sizes. So sometimes when you're using a garment that's meant for a knit and you're making it in a woven, you're told to go up or down or whatever, but in this particular case, at least on the sleeve, you didn't have to do that.
No, and I think this is stunning.
Yeah, this is gorgeous, and you're seeing a lot of interesting sleeves with a lot of shape and poof and gathering and drawing up and all of that, and then woven sleeves and contrasting sleeves, so this is right on. I mean, this is beautiful.
And I do think this is such an easy pattern, you know.
It is, and
because
it's
give us
easy.
all
and
the
it's got a
pieces.
little bit of an edge to it, so it's just not just the same old plain old T-shirt. It's really got
Correct.
some style.
It is.
Yeah, you could wear this anywhere.
And then
Then you did this, which is a mind blower.
this is the exact same pattern. I just used one side
Okay.
on the fold,
Okay.
and then I basically just hand drew that.
Yeah, and if you're not comfortable with hand drawing, you could use a French curve, or you could find some platter, or
bowl,
a
yeah.
bowl, or something around your house that has some kind of a curve that you like, and just
Or a
trace
T-shirt.
it.
If
Or
you
another
have
T-shirt.
something that you
Exactly.
think looks fantastic on you, well, you know, fold it in half, lay it on there, and use that as your
Exactly.
template.
So this is all woven now. We have a cotton. This was actually a fabric that we used in So Confident last year
For the whistles.
for
Whistles,
whistle
wasn't it? Yeah.
shirts, and it was in panels. So you just probably had a certain amount of fabric and just pretty much plunked it on there.
I almost didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to do the,
Oh, that's right. This is a faced hem.
because that was the end.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and I thought that looks great.
Well, I think a faced hem gives a certain stability to a hem, particularly on a fabric like this. Then it keeps the shape of it and keeps it wider because it's a little stiffer because you have that seam and 2 seam allowances at the bottom. And it's better than a fold. You see this a lot in designer fabrics or designer garments, not so much to save fabric, but just because it's a great detail.
And the Dolce & Gabbana that I was kind of taking my inspiration from, and I feel like a lot of designers are doing this, putting fabrics that I would never put together.
Right.
And so because of the pink in this,
Right.
and I have this beautiful, what is this, the Japanese
Yeah, this is our
linens.
Japanese linens. Yeah.
And look at that. I mean,
Yeah.
all the colors, like, really
Yeah.
go with this.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And then you pulled out the gold for the ribbing.
Yes.
Put the knit ribbing on the woven sleeve again.
And we did the facing all the way around.
Yeah.
So you can get it
and
over
this
your
looks
head.
like a yoke, but this is not a seam. This is where the design ended.
That's
And this
the
is-
fabric, yes.
Yeah, this was essentially a wide selvage to this pattern. To this
So I was
fabric.
worried. Otherwise, I would make a Betsy dress where it's really short.
Right. Yeah.
Or a tunic for me.
Yeah.
You know, but
So this is fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah, really gorgeous.
And no one can tell that it's the Marceau.
No, it has very little resemblance except for this detail right here on the sleeve. You see the 2 tucks on the sleeve, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so brilliant.
Thank you.
right.
I love this dress. This is
So
fun.
we've had Detour, we've had Marceau, and now we're going to talk about Florence, right? Yes.
Who, Erin has on a Florence.
Yeah, so let's show
Where's the normal Florence?
Let's look at a normal Florence. Yep, a normal.
A normal.
Normal. So the Florence out of the package is a shirt. It's a great big shirt, but it's not big in the bust and the shoulder and the sleeves and all that. It just billows a little bit and has these interesting tucks, partially sewn tucks across the front that create this bell shape. So it has a button placket, collar and stand, traditional sleeve with a vent and a cuff,
That cute pocket.
cute pocket, and then this detail down the back.
A faux placket.
A faux placket.
It's not a real placket.
So the first, we always have to talk about this with Erin, because she decided she wanted to make this into a tunic and in a knit. And so here we have the same garment
placket.
in a knit. So the
Yeah.
pocket is gone, the back placket is gone, and initially this was going to be plain. But she put it on, and I think the fabric had grown, or it was just bigger than she wanted to wear. So she ended up taking it in at the center front, so there's a seam, and so she put down a raw edge placket on the front to cover that seam, which I thought was fantastic. So this is really cute. So
And this is something you would wear a lot
Oh,
in my climate. You know.
absolutely. And so then I made one in a print, knit print, and Erin has one on.
And on
in-
this one, you went all the way across. Did she do that on?
No.
Okay.
Probably did, and this covered it then.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
these normally it's 2 sides.
Right, exactly.
And this one went just across.
Exactly. So come on out, Erin. So this is one of the ones that Erin wears quite a bit. This is cotton knit, and very, very plain, very simple, but it's got this little detail that just makes it. So it's a tunic. We don't know how much longer it is. Maybe it isn't even longer than the shirt. I'm not sure. Probably a little bit. But all of this is in a tutorial called the Knit Tunic Florence. So if you want to know how all of these knit ones are produced, you can purchase that tutorial.
Because normally you would have the collar and
Yeah. All of the parts that slow you down
we're
are
taken
gone,
away from that.
Are gone. You know, a collar
And short
stand,
sleeves.
yeah. The
Yeah.
cuff, the vent, the placket, the collar and stand are just gone. They've been edited out of the design. So what you have done, oh my, let's see where to start on this. Let's start with this one.
Oh gosh.
I love this one. This is amazing. So this is a Florence. Tucks are gone, well, at least those horizontal tucks are gone, long sleeve is gone, placket's gone, collar and stand is gone. Now there's a zipper in the back. This is in linen, and it's a pretty zipper. So you see the teeth and you see the pull, and I think that adds a nice touch to it. And then you created this diagonal line that comes all the way around, and then you added this overlay of linen pleating and stitched it here and here. And
Well, I added it into the seam here, and then I just stitched it down
Right.
here.
So you've taken this long piece of fabric, you've hemmed it with a double fold hem, and you just determined that these pleats are about 1.5 inches or whatever, and started pleating.
I did. I just made I think it was 2 fabric lengths of pleating.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. And then these sleeves are just rolled up, which is great. I think anytime you get that sleeve away from a certain point on your arm, you look a little, as I say, jauntier. This is probably a different shape to the neckline a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter,
But I did do the facing, and I did do the back part in that coordinating.
Right. Yeah, this garment does have a yoke, which we didn't point out. Looks like your yoke is a little bit shorter, so you might have done that. It's hard to tell. Who knows? So that's one variation of the Florence, which is amazing. This is another variation of the Florence.
This is one of my favorites. As you can tell, it's been worn It's worn.
I can't tell that it's worn so much,
I
but
have worn this a lot.
so this has the collar and the stand, but you've increased the size of the collar, which is something you do a lot.
Because that is on trend now. You know, you see them where they're even coming down to like these collars are
Right.
crazy. So I amped it up is what I feel like. And then I put a kimono fabric on the back.
Yeah.
And on the sleeves, I wanted to copy a Robert Graham detail from my husband's shirts. So it maybe wasn't done properly. I'm sure there's a better technique, but I made it work. And I do have the kimono fabric on the inside
Yeah.
with the 2 buttons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it. But I did keep the pleat in the same area. All I did was lengthen it and put these fabulous vintage buttons that I've been
Savoring.
waiting to use.
And you did a contrasting placket in the back and detail flat piping across the seam of the yoke.
I mean, this dress, when I wear it, I mean, everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. Well, of course, it's chickens, and we love chickens around here, but
It's kind of sporty though.
yeah, it is. So when you showed me this, I said, well, why don't you try lowering the pleat, the tuck? And you didn't really want to do that, but I made you do it.
We went back and forth. I was like, why?
Well, so this has been lowered maybe 5-6 inches, something like that. So now the tuck is all the way across, just in the front, and it's just a few inches from the bottom hem, and I like it. You're not as crazy about it as I am, but I like it.
I feel like it hits me at the wrong
Well, and,
area.
You know, this tuck doesn't even need to be here, because when you take this tuck away, then it's a straight hem.
But this is kind of cool because it makes it more like a high-low.
Right.
Same on my chicken, you know, you can see the high-low just
Right.
because of the pleat. It
But the
wasn't.
pleat, I guess the point is the pleat can be anywhere. It can be up here, it can be anywhere in this space.
But you know, this one is made properly where the lengthen and shorten lines, and then you lower it, and then so the pleat does end up
Okay.
lower.
Yeah, you
So-
do have to think about that, where you're lengthening and shortening the garment, whether at the bottom or on the lengthen and shorten line of the pattern. That's a decision that's all about shape. You have to take a look at that. Yeah.
Well, you had encouraged me to use the lengthen and shorten line and let it go.
Well, you're so inventive with your pattern work that, I mean, you're someone who just goes for it. You know, you see something, you see a picture, you've studied it online or whatever, and you just go for it. Me, I'm like, oh, I've got the tape measure out, and I'm thinking in a logical way, and that doesn't always work. Rarely works, let me tell you.
It would probably save me a lot of time and
I don't know.
fabric if I used your
You're
method.
much more creative about it, and your results show. But what I also like is that you added the tuck at the sleeve. So instead of rolling the sleeve up, as she did in the camel linen one, this has the tuck to create a different shape to how it hangs on the arm.
Which looks great, I think.
Yeah, this is a great detail. And then now we have a little more of a soft V neckline. Again,
With
probably
the-
just hand-drawn, knowing you, with the
Uh-huh.
facing.
No, I used a T-shirt I like.
Okay.
I hung it
Okay.
over the dress form and cut it or traced it, and then I
Okay.
put it on my pattern.
All right.
So I did try to use something I liked, but the facing again, and I think it was just a normal hem.
Yeah. So I think that's all your dresses.
That's all the Florence.
All right.
Yes.
Shall we take some questions now, or do you want to do fabrics?
There was a question originally about the Detour vest and what that was lined with.
It's not lined, it's faced with silk organza. And then the yoke is silk organza as well. But the garment is not lined.
And that, I think, would look fantastic for a wedding in the summertime, in the springtime, a garden party, which we
still
have in
have some
Tulsa.
of this fabric, I'm pretty sure.
Lots of fun.
Go on to the fabric.
Okay, we're going to go, let's show some fabric.
Let's do
All
it.
right, so what we did here is Samantha came in yesterday and we sorted through all of the linen prints. We have a new group of linen prints that we've gotten from a specialty designer house in Italy, and they are beautiful linens. Not every one of them is from that house, but almost all of them. But these are handkerchief weight but they feel like they've been laundered. So there's nothing stiff about them. They're very soft and they're very drapey. And I think they're totally beautiful. And these are designs that I have rarely seen. So those are here, 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 and here. We'll point those out as we go along. Let's just start at the top.
You got it.
All right, so this is a little bit heavier than a handkerchief, although it's a lightweight linen. And as you can see, there are faces and noses and lips and all of that, and it's just really fun. This washed would, I'm sure, feel quite a bit like this, but this has not been laundered yet.
But this, I mean, I think of the Florence or even the Detour. How fun would that be with bright pink buttons or black buttons or red buttons or something that would be, and then you could wear black boots or.
Right. So this is very modern and fun. These are much more traditional in their motifs. This is a beautiful rose motif, rose and leaf motif. That pink on pink.
Can you imagine how nice and flowy that would be?
So if you didn't want to make a dress, you could make a shirt, a skirt,
a detour that you just throw over.
This detour that I have on is a very, very, very lightweight fabric that I've underlined in China silk. So that's given it some, I hesitate to use the word body, but it does change the character of the fabric. And if you underlined this in pink or white or whatever, this would be a beautiful jacket.
And I think for us in our climate, Jan, like, you know, it is so hot, but then you go into the movie theater or to a restaurant, you're freezing.
Yeah.
You need something like this to throw on, and even in the summer. You know, a lot of people I know say, I would never wear a jacket, but I do in the summer, you know, because it literally, you go from sweating 100 degrees and they're blasting the air conditioner when you go in and you're like shivering, you know, so you need a little something. And so I think you have a lot of garments, not just Detour, that could be a nice jacket
we
for
have
the
a lot
summer.
of nice jacket patterns, or shirts that could become throw-on jackets.
Well, like this, I think is,
This is a beautiful paisley, big paisley, tone on tone. But when these came in, I bought these a little bit sight unseen. I mean, I saw the patterns on the internet, but the designers, the design house in Italy sent me photographs of this, and I was just crossing my fingers that the quality would be what the price was. And they far surpassed my...
Are these on sale?
Yes.
Because these are not cheap, and for them to be on sale, we better get them.
Right, exactly. So then this one is more the quality of this, which is still a lightweight linen, but not wash. And this has a very Asian flavor to it, in my opinion. And of course, you all know I'm into watercolor, so I wish I could paint like this, because that would be incredible.
But, you know, having the green, the teal, the red.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of teal and yellow and green in here, just enough. And then there's also some background watery motifs that you don't even really notice at first.
Looks
so
like
it's quite interesting, really.
A twister, a tornado right there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So then this one is interesting. This is one of the Italian pieces, and this is kind of in blocks, I guess I'll call it. I don't know if it's sold by the panel. Yes, it is sold by the panel. So you would get an entire block, 2 blocks wide of this. And I believe that the panels change for the next repeat, where the background is black and the motifs are yellow. So it's quite interesting in the big piece, and would be really fun to work with.
And that's probably shown online, the complete
I hope so.
draping of it. If not, we can hold it up.
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
I'm sure it is. Okay, then this is a very ikat, very traditional, but feel the drape of this.
I know.
Yeah, for a linen to be this drapey is quite unusual. And this is a very traditional ikat, Indian, East Indian, Aztec. It could be American Indian or East Indian. It can be, but block prints like this and motifs like this are actually very English as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
but I think of this, you could put, not stars, but you could put some really cool embellishments or buttons.
But I also think this is the kind of thing that you could mix. See, I would mix these two. your sleeves
too.
or,
Yeah, yeah.
or a collar or an undercollar or something. You could mix that up like that.
Yes, I agree. Okay.
All right, so this one is just a nice abstract painterly linen, again, very drapey. These are the kinds of linens that I don't think you have to obsess about with wrinkles. You know, that's the thing about linen that a lot of people don't care for. But these are already washed and they rumple in just the right way. So there would be a lot of people, like my daughter, for example, I know, who would wash this and put it on. I might press it once and then not worry about it later for the whole day that I'm wearing it. But I think that's the kind of linen that these are.
And there is a lot of this in Charleston where they wash it and wear it, because when you go outside in the humidity, it kind of softens the wrinkles. So there's no point in really crisping it up,
Right.
Because it's not going to last anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I think these are the kinds of linens that you do that with. So
Yes.
don't be afraid of the fact that it's just linen.
And don't press it to death.
No,
You know,
no.
I think it's kind of nice, the flowiness.
Now this color
It's gorgeous.
is gorgeous. And it's a color that I'm really getting into for some reason. I'm shifting. I might actually buy a blue car someday, so instead of a yellow car like I've always had. Anyway, another one of the Italian prints, more contemporary. This is very traditional, very English. This all over print on the classic yellow. This looks, I say English, it's actually sort of French, like Pierre Dieu, that kind of.
Yeah. Or
It
what
is-
was that? Ashley.
Laura Ashley,
Yes.
Pierre Dieu.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very French. And then another more painterly style. It's floral, but really it's just a lot of burst of color.
Gorgeous.
It has a great teal aqua in it that I love.
So when you start looking at it, you see.
Yeah. Now, see, I would use these two together. I don't know if you would.
Maybe. Yeah.
So this, again, Asian. This mountain form with some vegetation. Looks very foggy, misty. Has that.
But do you see the birds?
Yeah.
Is that a crane or?
It is a crane.
And then
but-
they've got these birds. But,
Yeah.
And then the tree.
Yeah. So it's very foresty, mountainy, misty,
But cool.
ethereal.
And it's cool.
And cool.
You know,
Yeah.
I would.
The colors
and
are
like,
cool.
You remember that San Diego I made out of
Yes.
a dress?
Yes.
Very thin linen.
Yes.
And I know I was concerned that I wonder if you're going to be able to see through it.
Mm-hmm.
But because it lays off your body, unless you're standing with the sunshine behind you with your legs like this, you're going to see something. But normally you don't.
Right.
You may think you can see through it, but
Yeah.
it's okay. And then my favorite, which I'm taking.
Oh, forgot about that one. Oh my gosh, how could we
We
forget
put
about
it
this
over
one?
here because I'm like, this is my favorite.
Yeah. So look at this.
It's panels. I think it's upside down, but
Isn't that amazing? But again, look at that. So these are really special linens, and we've never had anything like them ever in the whole history of my being in the fabric business, which has been a long time.
And this is panels.
Yeah. Again, very Asian. Some lanterns, some
Cherry
cherry
tree.
blossoms, little Asian lady here on like a playing card or something, dragons, the whole thing. It's very Asian. It's very
Can you
cool.
imagine that on the back of your Detour?
Oh yeah, this would be beautiful.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it is upside down, but you get the idea.
Right.
All right, so do we have any questions, Erin?
Yes, they do want to see.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Panel print, the yellow and black.
This one?
Excuse me, I knew that was going to happen.
We're going to work together on this one.
No, I'm wrong about that. What I was seeing was this. So the panels are in the yellow.
Let's see. Yeah.
So a panel is going to be cut right here. Probably, I'm assuming, Betsy would have put this online, and I'm assuming she's done that. Yeah. But yeah, isn't that gorgeous?
Now, what would you make from this?
Well, I'd make some kind of a dress just like you have on. I'd make the Detour dress. I'd make a skirt. I think it'd be a fantastic skirt. I would consider something like a big shirt too, a Florence shirt. and with skinny black pants.
That's what I was thinking. A white T-shirt with
Yeah.
black or jeans, and then this on top.
Yeah, the other thing that we're going to be coming out with soon, I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but we have taken the Ikena 2 jacket, which is a kimono-style jacket, and we've lengthened it into like a duster length, robe length, kimono length, whatever, and this would be fabulous for that. Because you could take that front panel and do a solid black, white, or anything, even another color probably, gray, check, stripe, something, and do that for a flowy robe-like.
Is this upside down as well?
It may be. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I think it is.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
flower, well, maybe not. I don't know.
I'd have to look at it the other way to see.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah, yeah.
upside down because of
Okay.
these. I don't know. We don't know. Okay, let's hang it back up.
Got it.
Would the watercolor black go with the UCAP?
This black?
I don't know, they said the watercolor black, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
But if you were to use any of these fabrics for a wide leg pant, what pattern would you use?
That would be the West End pants. Wide leg pants for us is the West End pants pattern.
Which Jan has on.
That's right. Would you like to come show us?
If I must.
This is Jan Black from Hollywood, South Carolina.
Hello.
And she has on, these are her work clothes today, believe it or not. But these are the West End pants in linen, or silk
That's
linen,
that
viscose
viscose
linen.
linen.
And that's what, any of these fabrics would be beautiful in that pattern. Yeah.
And this is your favorite pattern to make.
Oh, it is. This is my favorite pants pattern that you have.
And she makes them over and over again.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
very favorite.
Especially for summer, especially for the heat, because you get some air going.
And these have the neat pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, thank you. We got you on
I
camera
know,
after
she didn't
all.
want to come.
You did that.
We tried to get her to model.
She's
but
my
she-
travel buddy.
Yeah.
What patterns would you recommend for an extra large short person?
What patterns would you recommend for an extra large short person? The Detour would be great because it does have some fit up here, but then it does flare. I think the Florence Shirt shortened. I have friends who have shortened the Florence Shirt to a more moderate length, and that works as well.
I mean, to me, it depends on if you're large busted and short. Then you have something up here that kind of takes away from you looking, not that you're height challenged, whatever you want to. My sister is very short, but very large busted. So I feel like she needs to show off up here. She could wear anything. I really do feel like it's anything, but you don't want, if you have, like me right now, this baby, I call it, and I'm not pregnant. I don't want to like tie and cinch that, but some people with large bust who are short can tie a belt and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can wear anything then.
Yeah.
You don't want to wear like a long blouse
Yeah.
too big because that makes you look larger and shorter.
Right. Our swing tee is probably one of the best T-shirts to think about because of the shape of that. And then our helix pants and pencil pants, where you have the skinny pants, is a good look with something that has a little bit of flair to it.
The Marceau, because you could do an interesting,
Yeah, well,
At the
like,
bottom?
like the Marceau that you did, where you A-lined it.
because that takes away from,
Yeah.
you know, you see
And this vertical line in the middle.
Yeah.
This could be any length and be quite attractive, I think.
What about a jacket that doesn't have a collar for someone who is large busted, large stomach, and a short neck?
A pattern that doesn't have a collar. Well, first of all, we talked about turning the Detour collar down like she has.
Or
done.
I left it off on my jacket.
Well, that's right. It's gone.
Yeah, I didn't put it on.
Yes, so this is the Detour jacket without the collar. That's an excellent, I'm glad you pointed that out. So the Chicago jacket has a collar, but it's at the neck. The Stafford jacket, same way. The Tremont, that's the one. There you go.
Because of the asymmetrical.
There's your jacket. No
Yes.
collar, asymmetry, asymmetric, different lengths. That's your jacket.
Or like your Florence, the blue one that, yes, but the same, because you didn't put the collar on.
Yeah, but she's talking jacket.
But that could be a jacket if it, like this one could be a jacket right here that you made.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that could be a
That could be a
jacket
jacket.
with no, because you can do it
Right,
with no collar.
Our Now shirt looks great collarless. I've done that. That's a great little jacket. I've underlined that, lined it, made it into a jacket. We have lots of possibilities. I think you just have to edit out things. If you don't like a collar, just leave it off. Yeah.
Can I get a close-up of the Detour, your patchwork one?
That was really easy, surprisingly. And I did lay my pattern piece on my table. I cut the, like say I was cutting this side, this piece, and I left about 3 inches on it. So I didn't cut it exactly, but I had it enough, and I put the 2 pieces together with that temporary spray, so it held. I chalked the lines
Yeah.
that I wanted to do, sewed it, and then I put the pattern piece back on it and cut it appropriately.
Okay.
Because it does, when you're doing this kind of thing, it does,
Draw up a little bit.
like when you do embroidery or whatever, it does make it a little bit smaller.
Right.
Not a lot, but I think that made it easier too, to place my yoke and all of that, because I had the room to move it around a little bit.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yep. I got it.
Do you think you could lengthen the mix-it shirt to a dress?
Oh, we do it all the
Absolutely.
time.
We've done it all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
That one's an easy one.
That's an easy one.
You just,
Keep going.
Do you have instructions or tips for making the asymmetric hem for the Marceau dress?
Oh.
do they mean like this?
This is just done in the very same way as the instructions for when it's only an inch different. Now it's 4 inches difference. It's the same instructions.
Exactly the same. This was done the right way. I just thought,
Yeah. One side is longer.
let's make it a little edgy.
But the technique of sewing it is exactly the same.
Can you repeat what you guys have on?
I have on the Detour jacket, and she has on the Detour as a dress.
And the white Detour vest, what's the binding?
The binding is silk charmeuse.
And what's underneath that vest?
This is the swing tee, lengthened.
The swing tee is another. I should make a bunch of those dresses.
That'd be a great dress.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And every day, remember that one class we had and the lady kept saying, I want to have something to walk my dog? Well,
That would be it.
perfect.
Can you make the Eureka pieced top into a dress?
The which top?
The
Eureka.
pieced top, so the
Oh,
self-confidence?
sure. Just lengthen it.
The Eureka is another one that's very easy to lengthen as well. You just really go straight down.
Okay, should we talk about the crane?
Yeah.
Street kit?
So these are the Crane Street tees from
Can you hold one?
this. What month is this? April. This is April's So Confident project. This is the Crane Street tee, which is our newest T-shirt in French terries, either black, white, or ivory. And this is the embroidery motif that you get, and you get the kit all packaged up beautifully with all the different embroidery threads from France, England, Los Angeles, New York, Canada,
Let's see.
wherever. And you can take that embroidery motif and you can break it up into separate designs.
Okay.
as Alex has done on this T-shirt. But the back of the Crane Street has this beautiful blouson shape to it. So this is the monthly project. You can, obviously, if you're a yearly member, you have it because it came out last Friday. If you are someone who signs up by the month, you can sign up for this class and order the kit.
And these are the same thing, they just split it up here, right?
Right. You get everything you need, the needle, the transfer paper, the threads, the fabric for the appliques in the kit, everything.
I think
You
this
don't
is
get
gonna be-
scissors. You have to provide your own scissors.
This is going to be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But my daughter Alex designed the motif, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's really pretty.
You just don't want to put them right here.
Probably not.
All right, do you want to talk about what's on sale?
Yeah. So today, this week's sale, all of these linen fabrics are on sale. Every single one of them. All 12 of them, I think there are. And then we have 3 patterns: the Detour Jacket pattern, which is a download, the Marceau pattern, which is print and download, and the Florence, which is print. Have I said
But
that
you do
correct?
have tutorials that make the Florence
Yes.
into what
We
Erin
have
is
the
wearing.
knit tunic Florence tutorial on sale. That, I think, has Erin's picture on the front of it with what she has on, actually. And then the other tutorial on sale is the compendium that shows you how to make the white vest, the Detour duster, and this. And it's all about lining and underlining and binding and creating facings, and it's chock full of information. So that's Series 9, first quarter, so confident, Detour.
And I've loved that first one with the panels.
Yeah, that's in
I
there.
loved how y'all showed that in your tutorial.
So that's a whole compendium that includes everything about making those 3 garments. All right.
We're good.
We're good? Woo! Thank you, Samantha. You were
Fun.
great,
I love
as
it.
usual. Thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you.
starting our So Kansas event, which we haven't had for a while, tonight, and with a trunk show, and we're going for the next 3 days strong.
We're going to be drinking champagne if
Yeah,
anybody
maybe
wants
so.
to
Well,
drink with us.
I probably won't, since I have to show the
home.
clothes, but we'll see. Okay, but anyway, we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much.